Hey, Bill, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are we doing?
Nice win on the road last night.
Yeah, good win for our team. Thought the guys really competed well, and got contributions in all three phases from a lot of different people. Really good team win.
Bill, did the game plan change dramatically when Kyler Murray got hurt, or was it basically kind of the same game plan with just maybe a little bit different responsibilities because Colt McCoy doesn't have the ability to run like Kyler Murray does?
Right, I think that's about it, Jermaine. They ran their offense, but Colt's skills are a little different than Kyler's, and Colt's played well for him this year. They've won with him in there, and he's done a good job with the team. So I know they have plenty of confidence in him. He's been a good player for them this year.
Bill,
he's hurt us a few times.
Bill, when it comes to Marcus Jones, he's been awesome recently. When you drafted him, did you realize that he would be able to make such a big contribution so early on and in multiple ways?
Well, we drafted him because we thought he was a good player and would help our team. The path he's traveled this year has been, one of recovering from the two surgeries he had in the off season last year, and then, participating where he could in the spring, and then not until we got into the middle of training camp in the summer. So it's been a progression and process for him. He's worked hard and done all he could the whole way. It's just a question of when you put a load on him, and then when Jack got hurt last night, he ended up playing almost every snap, I think, on defense after Jack went out. So he ended up with a lot of playing time. But Marcus is a smart kid. He's in good condition, and we'll see how it goes.
Bill, another guy who looks like they're really taking advantage of their opportunity, who's definitely come a long way, is Josh Uche. Obviously, what has he shown you this year and just his growth as a player?
Well, the biggest thing with Josh has been availability. He's been healthy. He's been on the field, almost every day in practice. Hasn't missed any time, and unfortunately, in the last couple of years, he's kind of been in and out a little bit with, a week here, a week there, 2 weeks here, a week there kind of thing. And as you know, that hurts the progress of a player. It's hard to get into that rhythm and hard to keep building your fundamentals and techniques and keep improving. Whereas this year, he's been out there every day, and he can work on things that are fundamental for him, but also some new things, and work with his teammates, and the timing and communication, reads, recognition, all that just gets better with more experience, especially for a player in his third year like Josh. So I think that's been the big thing. He's always been a guy that we want to get on the field, and sometimes it's just a question of how much availability he's had, and this year his training, conditioning, and knock on wood, health has been really good.
Bill, it looked like Mac Jones may have been expressing some frustration last night during that game when not getting the play in time. Is that something that you like to see from a player?
We all want to get the plays in on time.
But from a body language perspective, is that something that shows the passion there with the player?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bill, defensively, a thing that it seems like you've been able to do week in and week out is get consistent pressure on the quarterback. Have you noticed that it's guys taking advantage of their, we've seen Judon and, we talked about Uche, but just the front seven in general. You notice is that guys just winning their individual matchups week in and week out?
Well, I think it's number one. It's usually a factor of the score, and you really have to earn the right to rush the passer in this league. So you just don't start off the game rushing the passer. You've got to stop the run, and if you can get ahead and make it a one-dimensional game, then that increases and highlights the opportunities for pass rushers to rush. There's just more passes and they're more known situations. So obviously some of it is good pass rush and good technique and winning one-on-one matchups and fundamentals. But also part of it is, opportunity and situation. And it works in reverse the other ways when you have to throw on every down because you're in long yardage or you're behind in the score, then that makes it a lot harder to pass protect and throw the ball against a good pass rushing team. So, the rush is the rush. It is what it is, but opportunities and situations have a lot to do with things like stats and pass rush numbers, and they also have a lot to do with sometimes the numbers you give up defensively in the passing game because you're ahead and they're throwing the ball more, and you may be winning, but the yardage is could increase a little bit compared to normal situations. So it's just some of it's situational football, and I think you have to take that into account.
Bill, taking on the Raiders this Sunday, how has it been this season adjusting to life without Josh McDaniels leading the offense?
Well, we've been in situations like that for many years where somebody in the organization, assistant coaches, personnel directors, college pro scouts, or scouting coordinator directors, all those, when those people move on to better opportunities, which, I'm personally happy for them when they get those opportunities, and it works out for them and their families, then we move on. And fortunately, we have a lot of people in the organization who have been here a while, who have experience, who have gained experience, whether, that's how Josh moved into his role initially. So whatever the situation is, we're ready for whatever changes come and we adapt to them. I think that's, every team in the league has changes on their staffing and from year to year. That's pretty common. And certainly we've had, our share, more than our share. But that's football. It's the NFL.
Bill, when DeVante Parker went down, it seemed like it took longer than normal for anybody to realize something was wrong. I think it was Nelson Aguilar and the ref that had to flag somebody down on the sideline. What was going on the sideline, in your point of view, while that all happened?
What do you mean? What was going on the sideline?
Well, there's usually a spotter that can tell if a player's bobbling or not walking straight. So I was just wondering why it took longer than normal for a coach to realize something was up.
Well, I think when those plays happen, the player on the field and his teammates around him, because they're right there next to him, usually have a better idea of the player's how he's doing compared to somebody that's 30, 40 yards away. So. So that's, there's a little bit of a timing there. You're talking about seconds that are taking place. And, if you're sure that there's something wrong, then you address it, and the player should address it right away. If it's, get a hit and stuns you for, a second or two, and then everything, pops back into normal, then, that happens out there plenty of times too. I mean, I don't think you want people running on the field after every play. So, but ultimately, I think the players made the right decision, and I'm not sure if how much of it was us, how much of it was a spotter. A spotter called down on Devin later in the game. That's the process.
Bill, spending the week in Arizona, I assume, and then heading to Vegas?
That's right.
Okay.
Bill, when you look at some of you, and I know you had made brief mention, they were talking about this on the broadcast, just about being a little bit more consistent, especially in the red zone. When you think about like maybe some of the creativity or just the consistency, what do you feel like you guys need to do better as a coaching staff offensively to maybe obviously put the offense in a better position where you're able to come away with touchdowns rather than field goals?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing in the red area on third down always is execution. There's less space. It's tight, and the defense has less space to defend, and the offense, has to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. So it comes back to execution, and that's really for everybody. I think we were 2 for 3 last night or something like that. I'm not sure. Ran the ball in, so that's always a good thing if you can run the ball in.
All right, Bill. Thanks for taking the time this morning, and we will talk to you again next week.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Have a good week.
All right, thank you. There he is, Bill Belichick.